Okay, good. Okay, so you can hear me? Okay, you can hear me, yeah? Get a couple more people, that way I can know what's happening in the city. Well, we're going to be talking about these masks today, this new accessory that we have. I wanted to break it down on my Textile Tuesday today, just to give us an idea of what's actually going on. Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you, Renee. Let's see. Thank you, Ramon. Appreciate it. I need to know what's happening. Okay. I'm not going to be long. This is going to be like a series type situation because it's way too much information to try to break down in like 2.5 seconds. So this will be the first series of, thank you so much, Raymond. I appreciate it. I hope I'm saying your name right. But yeah, it's going to be several series so I can go over the mask and everything and all that. Give it a couple more seconds and then I'm going to go. Let's see. What's up, Danielle? What's up, cuz? What's up, April? I appreciate y'all tuning in to the live. What's up, Melissa? What up, Cook? What up, Charles? Okay. All right, so we're about to break down these masks. No, hey, girl, Melissa. We're going to break down these masks. Oh, Remy, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Oh, what up, cuz? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started because I ain't got time. We're going to be a little while. We're not going to be too long. So we're going to break down these masks. So first of all, we're going to talk about the purpose of the mask. I know, Melissa. Look, listen, I'm trying to do a live. You can't be talking to me. This is a reason for me to get dressed up. Like, we can't go nowhere. We can't do nothing. So this is the only time I can put on clothes. Okay, so the purpose of the mask is basically to protect others. It's not really to protect you, especially if you have a cloth mask or if you have like a surgical mask or something like that. It's really not going to protect you from bacteria unless you have like the N95 or you have the masks that are filtered, things of that nature. Then you'll be a little more protected. But having like a cloth mask that's not filtered, or if you have a mask that's like a surgical mask, it's not gonna really protect you. It's basically to protect others. And that's why you should wear it. And I don't know what they're doing. How are you, Vernon? Thanks for tuning in. What was I gonna say? It threw me out. Oh, so yeah. So I don't know what they're doing in other cities, but in LA, it's now a law. Thank you, Sugar Jackson, for tuning in. I don't know what they're doing in other cities, but in LA, it's now a law. So you have to have, hey, Tiara, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. So in other cities, I don't know what they're doing, but in LA, we have to wear masks. Like, it's the law. So if you try to go to the grocery store or anywhere and you don't have on a mask, you can't come in. So it's now the law. And if you don't comply, it's like a misdemeanor. So these masks are very important. It's not a game. I know we're trying to get fashionable, but let's be, realize what's going on in the paint. So we're going to go over this one first. Ain't this cute? Y'all like this? It's cute, right? Right? How are you, Tanisha? Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to go with this mask first. Now, this is more so of the surgical mask. Hey, Kenny, thanks for tuning in. This is the surgical mask. Now, this is not going to protect you from the COVID. This is not going to make sure you don't get the disease. This is not actually for us. This is actually for the healthcare workers. These are disposable because unfortunately the coronavirus can stay on one of these for like a week. So, hey, Renee. Yeah, so the virus can stay on this for a very, very long time. So you have to be careful, especially if you have these, because I see people walking around in these. And if you're not getting rid of these are like disposable. So you're only supposed to have these like once and then get rid of them. This is not a thing where you wear for months and months. And then you have the N95 masks, which is also for the surgeons. Hey, Sandrini, what's up, Pri? Thanks for tuning in. You have these right here, too. Now, this is the N95. Now, N in the N95 stands for, wait a minute. It stands for not resistant to oil. But these are usually for, like, you know, the surgical things. This is not for the regular people. They don't suggest that you get these or walk around in these. Now, these are filtered. But the basics of your mask, because I know people have a lot of cloth masks that they're using. Hey, Charles, thanks for tuning in. A lot of cloth masks that they're using. But when you're using the cloth mask, I see people are making them. So shout out to all the designers who are able to make these masks for people. Shout out to everybody who's taken their time to get these masks done. And I was going to make them, but I can't because now the supplies are limited. So my hands are tied with that. But otherwise, I would have been dishing them out. But, you know, it is what it is. So if you're able to get fabric and if you're able to get supplies, get as much as you can before things shut down and before supplies are limited. Right. Danielle, you need a cute one. You need to be safe. Quit trying to be cute. You need to be safe. So let's go over the basics. So if you're going to have one of those masks, make sure that you're washing them. Don't just wear them and go outside and then come in the house. Like once you come in the house, put them in a bag, get them together. Make sure you put them in a safe bag until you can wash them. Once you wash them, put them in the detergent, get them clean because the COVID can still be on your mask when you go outside. And you don't want to spread that to your loved ones. You want to spread it to yourself. You don't want to get it on your face. So make sure you're keeping it clean and after every wear that you do. And let's talk about this mask. So this mask is actually made out of a non-woven fabric. And non-woven meaning it's not woven and it's not knit. So it's non-woven. So the way they make this is they actually, it's a technique called melt blowing where they mesh the fabric together. And this is made out of like a polyester. So again, it's made out of plastic. I mean, you're breathing in plastic. This is not, you see what I'm saying? Like you're breathing in plastic. At the end of the day, it's plastic. This is also polypropylene, which is also a plastic. Hey, Melissa, what's up, cuz? Microwave. People are saying that you should microwave your mask. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. These are made out of plastic. You should never microwave your mask. It's going to melt in. Who would suggest that? Really? They have rubber bands on them. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is so dangerous. You're putting radioactive waves into your mask and then you're going to be breathing that stuff in. That is foolishness. Don't listen to that because masks like this, you should be throwing them away anyway. You shouldn't have a whole lot of these walking around. Now with the cloth mask, especially if you're getting them made and you're getting custom masks, be mindful of the textile that it's made out of, simply because you want to make sure, hey Stacy, thanks for tuning in. You want to make sure that, what was I at? Talking about the cotton ones. You should never put a mask in the microwave. I don't care if it's cotton. I don't care if it's plastic. I don't care what it is. You should never put it in the microwave. That's radioactive energy that you're putting into the fabric. No. Just to tell people, don't do that. But anyway, so when you're having those custom masks, just make sure that the textile and the fiber content, that you know the fiber content of the mask. Because sometimes if you have a certain fiber content and then you have, hey Tone, thanks for tuning in. If you have a certain mask that is made out of a certain fabric and then you have underlying issues, it may cause more difficulty in breathing, especially if you have respiratory issues. So just be mindful of that. Make sure these fabrics and these textiles are breathable. And as designers, we need to stay integral. Like I've seen people with feathers on their mask. I mean, they're going out of control. I understand. We want to be fashionable. Listen, I love to look good too. But we want to make sure that it's functional as well. We want to make sure that we're sending laundering instructions along with these masks that we're making. Hey Shirley, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you're sending those laundering instructions so that your clients can know how to keep them washed, how to keep them dry, what should they do, especially if they're filtered, how to launder them, how to wash them, how to keep them clean. But just be mindful of that when you are purchasing masks. Know the fiber content that you're using or that you're putting around your face. Sometimes people may be allergic to certain fibers. You need to know that. Hey, Vanessa, thanks for tuning in. And just be mindful of the fiber content. Hey, Anthony, thank you for watching. Just be mindful of the fiber content of these masks that you're wearing. Like I said, this is made out of plastic, and this is as well. Now, mind you, they don't really want us to wear these, but if you do get a hold of one, don't keep them. Only have them just for showing purposes. But these are made out of polypropylene, again, which is plastic. It's still a breathable fabric. It's still a breathable textile. But it's not a cotton or anything like that. It's not even, it's plastic. And then this as well is plastic. So the job and the purpose of these things is to protect the other person from your virus if you have it, or anything that you may secrete through your nose, through your mouth. It's for that reason. It's not to protect you from bacteria. It's not to protect you from the actual virus, unless you have the right PPE, which is personal protection equipment, unless you have the right things. Otherwise, it's to protect the rest of the people and to stop the spread. But we need to know these things. We need to know, what can you do? Hey, Kenya, thanks for tuning in, boo thing. You need to know these things. And so I don't know, like I said earlier, I know LA, it's mandatory before you even go into these places, before you can even walk into these buildings, you have to have a face covering or some type of mask. What I do, I not only put on my cloth, but I also put something on top of that. So I'm kind of creating a filter, if you will, like a barrier. That way it kind of protects me if I do go out, which they don't suggest. But if you have to go to the grocery store, you got to go to the doctor, then you want to be protected, and you want to protect other people, because you may be carrying it and you don't know, you're asymptomatic. So it's a thing where it's not showing up in you, and then you may spread it to people who are a little more susceptible to the virus and to the disease. So you want to be mindful of those things. Now, next live that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over like the filters, how to keep the filters clean that you may have in your mask, because some masks come with the filters. I've seen people, they're creating the masks and they have filters in them, which is great, because if you have a 3-layered filter, then when the air comes in, boom, bacteria hits that one, then it's clean, then boom, it hits the next layer, and so on and so forth. But if you just have on a mask, it's nose to air. And it can't protect you from those small particles that the virus may be able to get through. But you got to stay safe. Stay safe, you guys. I know, we seeing everybody with these masks on. Everybody look like they robbing somebody. But it's about being safe. And it's about keeping others safe. It's really not about you. It's about others. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping others safe from what you might have and you don't really realize it. But like I said, anybody got any questions that they have for these masks that they want to ask? If not, that is fine. Let me see. Gas to stay safe. No, yes, maybe. So anyway, I don't know if they've made a mandate in you guys' cities to wear the mask, and you can't go in a store unless you do it. And then I can also go over how to make the mask yourself if you're in a situation where you really can't afford it, or there's none left, which they're kind of non-existent right now. So, if it's a thing where you need to make your own, there's great DIY things, do it yourself, videos everywhere on how you can make these masks. And I know we all want to be cute because nobody wants to wear an ugly mask. I mean, Nana's a fashion statement. So Nana's a part of our world. So it's a new accessory that we all have to do. It's a new accessory that we all have to accept. And it may not hit you guys. Hey, Teray, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I will be discussing the filters next. But what have you heard about the coffee filters? I'll go all over all of that because I don't want to keep it too long. Number one, my phone may die. I didn't charge my phone the way I should have. And number two, I just want to make sure that I'm going over the information for you guys, especially as far as the textiles and what is needed, the information that's needed to make sure you guys are staying safe, especially if you do purchase say you get a custom mask or you get a mask from somewhere else. Hey, Lisa, thanks for tuning in. Just make sure you can ask the designer the laundering instructions, and you may want to wash it first because sometimes the fabrics at the fabric stores are not pre-washed. So when you go to an actual fabric store and you go in there, those fabrics may not be pre-washed. So they may have things already on them that you kind of want to rid the mask of before you put it on your face, just so that you don't break out or so that you're not inhaling harmful particles or harmful chemicals for that matter, because fabrics, they can be dirty and they pick up a lot, especially if it's a hydrophilic fiber like a cotton that absorbs moisture. Hey, Sham, thanks for tuning in. Especially if it's a hydrophilic fiber like a cotton or the natural fibers, you want to be really careful of those, because if you sneeze in one of those, all of that bacteria and all of that moisture is going to be absorbed by the fabric, and it's going to be locked in that fabric, like locked in. So you want to be mindful of that too, that you know the fiber content, especially if it's a hydrophilic fiber. Now, if it's a hydrophobic fiber like a polyester, it's not really going to absorb all those what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a brain fart. Hydrophobic fibers, it won't absorb the moisture and the sneezes, and say you cough, it won't really absorb all of that. And that's a good thing because it'll repel things that may have bacteria in it. However, you need to be mindful when you purchase these masks, what is the fiber content, and be mindful of how to launder them and keep them clean, especially if you have upper respiratory issues already, like asthma, if you have breathing issues, bronchitis already, you may have, issues that's going on medically prior to the COVID. You want to make sure that these textiles are not agitating those things. So we want to be mindful of that. So next live that I'm going to do is which is going to be the next Textile Tuesday. I'm going to break down the filters, how to keep those clean, how often, how many masks do you need to buy, how long will they last? Those are some of the things that you need to know, because these are not made to last forever. So just keep mindful, stay safe out there, you guys. I hope you guys are loving this quarantine. I know we're all stuck in the house, but use it. I mean, create, sing, dance, love, play, do whatever you do, but enjoy this time. Use this time to get things you need to get done, things that you've been procrastinating on. Get those things done. Hey, Tony, thanks for tuning in. But next time on the Textile Tuesday that I'm going to do, I'm going to go over the filters, go over all of that, just so that everybody can be mindful and stay safe out here, which is very, very important. That's numero uno, is staying safe and important. And then after that, then we can look good. Then we can kill the game, because we're going to have rhinestones and everything. Love you, cousin. Love you, Sham. Thanks for watching. And you guys, I will be going live next week to go over the filters. So if you tune in, thanks for everybody that actually took the time to watch, whether it was 10 seconds or 10 minutes. I really appreciate it. And we'll go over that next week, just so you guys can stay informed and stay safe. Bye, you guys.